All the choices that you make on a daily basis is going to affect how you feel, how you think, how you behave. The social media, the texting, the blue light, the messaging, it's affecting the very foundational principle of health, which is sleep. Number one reason why people have difficulty with sleep is there's a medical term called. Forget about this, Natasha. Means you can relate to this. Half of your life, you had no exposure to any of these things. And suddenly they dictate and dominate every aspect of our life.
This is Skin Talks, the podcast where we go deeper than skin, products, and trends and explore the conversations that actually matter in health, beauty, wellness, and confidence.
We're a mother-daughter duo and the founders of Boutique Skin Envie. After years inside the industry, we've learned that health is never just about what you use. It's about everything you digest, how you think, how you live, what you eat, how you move, what you put on your skin, and how you feel in your own body.
If you're looking for insight, honesty, and a fresh perspective on the future of health, beauty, and wellness, you're in the right place.
Let's get into it.
Skin Talks podcast by Boutique Skin Envie, hosted by Beate and Natascha.
Today, we were joined by Dr. Suhas Kshirsagar, an Ayurvedic physician, educator, and internationally recognized teacher of integrative medicine. He's the author of several influential books, including The Hot Belly Diet, Change Your Schedule, Change Your Life, The Art and Science of Vedic Counseling, and most recently, Awakened Sleep, co-written with Dr. Sheila Patel, which was released on October 28th, 2025.
Dr. Suhas, it is so nice to have you on the podcast today. Before we get into today's topic, which is going to be all about awakening sleep and sleep overall, can you please give us a little bit of an introduction about yourself and how did you end up in this field of work?
Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, Beate. So happy to be with both of you on this beautiful, wonderful podcast of Skin Talks. I'm a classically trained Ayurvedic physician practicing Ayurvedic medicine for over 35 years. I left India. I graduated from an Indian Ayurvedic university, did my MD in Ayurvedic medicine, and started traveling abroad for His Holiness Maharshi Mahesh Yogi, who was the founder of Transcendental Meditation Group, who brought meditation to the West and was living and working with him for many years. First based in Europe and traveled around the globe in 39 different countries, talking about yoga, Ayurveda, meditation, finally settling down here in US and continuing my journey about education primarily, but more importantly, health and wellness, and continued my passion. So teaching, writing books, seeing patients, that has been what I've been doing for last decades.
Amazing. And for those who are new to Ayurvedic, what is it? If you can just get it in the simplest form, what exactly is it for those that are listening that don't understand what it is or to the first time hearing that word?
Well, Ayurveda is one of the most ancient and one of the most comprehensive system of healthcare that is known to humanity. And the very basic understanding of Ayurveda is we are 100% made in and made by nature. So all the choices that you make on a daily basis is going to affect how you feel, how you think, how you behave, and more importantly, whether you create any diseases or maintain a state of health. So Ayurveda is the original lifestyle medicine. Ayurveda is the original personalized medicine. It's all about nutrigenomics. It's all about epigenetics. Is that right? That we are learning from a modern day medicine perspective that it's not the genome, but the epigenome, the environment that you live in regulates and upregulates and downregulates every gene expression that is going on in your body and can decide the fate of how you're going to feel on a given day. So Ayu means life, Veda means knowledge. Knowing yourself and understanding yourself and making choices on a daily basis that how you live is going to decide. Ayurveda is something that I jokingly tell people that it is going to introduce you to yourself, because I think that participatory process of healthcare is so important. We kind of drifted that away from it, especially in this country, in US, where the HMOs, they take care of your health and fix your health when you're sick, and you keep on doing whatever you're doing. But when you're sick, you go and seek help, and then they're going to fix you for something. But I think it's a bit too late. You have to ask this question to every day, that what am I doing for my body? What am I doing for my mind? What am I doing in order to have a spiritual experience on a daily basis? And then everything comes on the sidelines. So I think
Absolutely.
health is exactly what how you live and how you manifest.
I love that. And, I had the opportunity to meet you in person. It was one of the most, I'll say, profound experiences I've had in my life. Throughout the weekend, we joined you at a conference with Sonia Sharma in Ottawa earlier this year. And that's why I was so excited. I came back from that seminar that we had together, and I bought a whole bunch of your books. And I learned so much. I think the whole entire weekend was like those aha moments. I must have had 100 of them all weekend. It put a lot of things into perspective for me. So I was so excited when I saw that you had launched our Awaken Sleep together with Dr. Patel. And it just came out on October 28th. So that's the reason why we wanted to have you on this podcast today, because we know that sleep is such a big subject today. But I find the book title Awaken Sleep to be so intriguing and so interesting. It makes me ask a lot of questions. And I'll be honest with you, I've downloaded your book. I have it on my Audible download list, and I've started to listen to it, but because it just launched, I didn't have the opportunity to finish it before we recorded this episode today. So I'm really looking forward to talking to you about it. And what I find most interesting is the title.
It's like a double negative, and it's
It's
the
like-
opposites.
It's the
Oxymoron. Is that
Yeah,
right?
an
It's an
oxymoron.
oxymoron.
Exactly. Awaken Sleep. So
Quickly, before we get into the actual book and what it means, I want to know, why did you decide to write a book? Because you've written a book about the
Yep.
holy diet, to change your schedules, to change your life, all of this stuff. But how did you get into the sleeping aspect of it? Because I also right now
Well,
it's such a big trend.
it's not trend that we are trying to capture, but we practice clinical medicine every day. I see warm bodies patients. I just finished seeing a patient a few minutes ago. So we have our fingers on the pulse of what is going on in people's life. So when I wrote "Change Your Schedule, Change Your Life," it's people are busy. They're super busy. They have no time for themselves. They have no time to sit down. They have no time to eat. They have no time to enjoy a cup of coffee. Is that right? So it is something where that busyness at the cost of happiness, and then you start spending all that your time to make yourself more productive. And so I think busyness at the cost of happiness, the invisible boundaries of work, that many people are still working late in the evening. They're responding text messages, they're checking their work related emails and things like that. So those boundaries used to be at some point where you're working 9 to 5, you punch your card and you punch your card out. But now with the smartphone, you're working all the time.
Yeah.
And so I think this has taken a toll on your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep, because the social media, the texting, the blue light, the messaging, it's affecting the very foundational principle of health, which is sleep.
and I think
And we see that
yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to
the
say that what we're learning about sleep, it's because I follow it also because of you. That sleep is one of the most important things, and we don't understand the implications that it has on our life, short term, medium term, and long term, with relation to illness, with relation to so many different things, right?
every even success. Okay, so we don't want to talk about health, but what you want to manifest in your life depends upon the quality of sleep. And I made a bold statement in the book which said that sleep is one of the most potent anti-inflammatory and immunomodulatory activity that one will ever do in their lifetime. Sleep is one of the most potent anti-inflammatory and immunomodulatory activity that one will ever do. And so the thing is that we used to think about a decade ago, when you have nothing else to do, what you do is sleep. But now we have come a full circle in medicine. And this is a recurrent trend. Is that right?
Yes.
Medicine is constantly changing the goalpost as if that they don't know enough about anything. Means 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we grew up fat is bad for you. And now we have come a full circle, butter is better. You need to be eating good quality oils that is really good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Exercise, it's anytime you get things exercise that is good. But the science is all about when you do exercise. It's not about what you eat, when you eat. It's about not how much sleep you get, but when you sleep. So all these science of chronobiology, where
Yeah.
your biological clocks are entrained with the clocks of the nature. When the nature slows down from dawn to dusk, that is when the other activity should happen. So when you think you are sleeping, the body is carrying out millions of functions in the night when you are deep asleep. Lipid scavenging, lipid synthesis, immunoregulatory activities, so forth and so on, millions of functions. You think you're asleep, but the body needs that sleep to carry out those functions. So the things that are going on in the body, there are things that are going on in your mind and the sensory experience. And then you slowly slip into the gap of your dream world and beyond. And that is why the title of Awakened Sleep is. You don't want to just be zoned out because 1 in 3 adults don't sleep properly.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 in 4 adults have restless leg syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
1 in 8 adults have obstructive sleep apnea, which they're not even aware of.
Mm-hmm.
They are having restricted respiratory path and breathing track and things like that. So, if at all we are talking about a global sleep deprived culture, then it's obvious to talk about. And it's very ironic for people like us to write books about food, write books about sleep, exercise, uh, even sometimes breathing. For God's sake, we have to teach people how to breathe. And so I think the common thread to all of this is disconnection from your bodily functions. What you're feeling inside in your body, what your body is trying to tell you, you're not able to tune into that conversation. And that disconnection is affecting your sleep and it's affecting the outcome of everything else that you either manage to attract or fail to attract in your life.
So, what's like an optimal sleep? Like, what does that look like for you? Somebody who's getting 6 hours a night. I mean, it's probably different for every individual, I'm assuming, but is it like 8 hours? Is it a full night's sleep? Are you allowed to wake up? Like deep sleep, REM? What does that look like?
Well, there is no such thing that everyone has to sleep and be asleep, and everybody has to start with this kind of a sleep phase. Then you go into only 90 minutes of REM, then you go into non REM. There are these boundaries, are man made boundaries. Is that right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like a baby when they sleep, they sleep. It's like an animal, cat, or a dog when they sleep, they sleep. From the science perspective, we only know the electrical activity of the brain when we are trying to sleep. Is that right? Sleep is very mystical, Natasha. It's very mystical. We really don't know where we go when we sleep. Nobody knows. It's something where we are measuring the brain waves and we are giving them the names of alpha wave, beta wave, theta wave. That is okay. We are understanding the stages of sleep, but we still don't know the bigger purpose. And there is no cookie cutter advice that everybody should be asleep from this to this. The wisdom is when the sun goes down, within few hours, you should be asleep. And you should start your day at least an hour before the sunrise or close to sunrise. It's the simple wisdom. It's, it's the animals, birds leave their nest at dawn and come back at dusk. Everything that we do is based upon the chronobiological cycles of sunlight, the cycles of night and dark. Time is embedded in our genes. So, ideally, to answer your question, we have there are different body types. There are Vata people who are light sleeper. They are a little bit more fidgety. Their sleep is a little bit more superficial, a little noise, a little dark, some kind of light flashing in their bedroom can wake them up.
Yeah, that's me.
Or maybe a sudden stressful thought or a bad dream can wake them up. So A pitta person, they fall asleep, but they're very sensitive to temperature. So if they feel a little bit warm under the sheets, they will wake up in the wee hours in the morning, and then they start planning and thinking about their day and work and sending emails, having conversation, and then they have hard time falling asleep. Kapha people have no problem in falling asleep, staying asleep. They have problem waking up
Yes, it's
easily
showing.
and feeling energetic in the morning. So they feel a little bit more dull. And they keep their mouth open when they're breathing. They have a little bit more difficulty to oxygenate their body. So invariably they wake up more dull and heavy, and they need 1 or 2 cups of coffee to get going. And then it disrupts all the rhythm of their digestion and everything else. So
It's
everyone
so
is
amazing.
responding to sleep based upon their dosha. That is number one.
Okay.
The second
Can I
part
just
is,
can I just like in parenthesis and hold the thought for number two? Because people who don't know Ayurveda don't know that there's three different doshas, and that's basically the Vata, the Pitta, and the Kapha. Can you just explain that really quickly for somebody who's listening that doesn't know what that is?
yeah, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha are doshas that we talk in Ayurveda, but these are mere expressions of the elemental structure that the universe is made up of. The whole universe is made up of space, air, fire, water, and earth. These are the five elements that 100% everything that we see is made up of. So the combination of space and air is Vata. The combination of fire and water is Pitta, and the combination of water and earth is Kapha. So Kapha is a heavy dosha, more dull, heavy, stability, all of that. Pitta is more about medium built, flush, heat related dosha. Vata is more light space, and they are more lean and thin and wiry kind of people. So different structures in the body. Kapha people are more round, more plump. Pitta people are more flushed, red. They are a little bit more grumpy and irritable by nature.
Interesting.
Vata people are thin, wiry, with exposed bones, and a little bit more lighty and flighty, I would say. They are restless. They are more worriers, I would say. As Pitta people are more grumpy and irritable. Kapha people are more happy-go-lucky, easy-going kind of people.
That makes so
Kapha
much
people
sense.
tend to stay in the past. They tend to worry about what happened in the past. Pitta people are more in the present. Vata is all about future. They play a what-if kind of a game to themselves, and they worry about anything and everything. So you are blessed and cursed with your body type that you inherit from your parents. Your body type is a combination of your parents' things. So, Natasha, you have a reason to blame it on them. Okay.
Yeah, I will. I will. Well, my father is probably Kapha.
I'm definitely Pitta.
You're definitely Pitta, and I'm definitely
I already did the
Vata.
test. Like I know what I am. And I think we have a little bit of everything in us with a dominant, right? Dosha.
Yeah, we need all the three doshas to function.
Right.
But there are a couple of them that are in the driver's seat. And that's how we think, that's how we behave, that's how we act. And there's nothing bad. There's beautiful qualities about all of them.
Yes.
You're
Vata people
grumpy.
are more creative, they're artists, they are more reflective people. They're like butterflies. They want to go everywhere and do everything. Pitta people are very focused, more passionate, more intense, more energized. They know what they want, and sometimes they can get too fussy with date, place, time, calendar, all of that. And Kapha people are more gentle, peace loving, staying away from unwanted arguments,
That's
and
like
they they
describing
they
Jordan.
like to get along with people, and probably are more easygoing people as such. So I think they all have their own beauty, but there are challenges physically. Okay, physically there are challenges that Vata people will create more anxiety, more depletion, dehydration. Pitta people will have heat, inflammation, those kind of conditions, autoimmune conditions. Kapha people will have more retention, fluid retention, puffiness, swelling, type 2 diabetes, being overweight, all of those congestive conditions. So
It's
we
interesting, eh?
are all blessed with somewhere. So Ayurveda is a science, number one, to understand who you are. And based upon that, make your choices. What kind of exercise, what type of yoga, what kind of breathing exercise, what kind of things, and even what kind of partner you want to choose. Because if there are two Vata people who are both anxious, restless, worried are together, then they'll make each other even more anxious and worried. But if a Vata person is married to a Pitta person who is Mr. Smarty Pants and makes all the decisions for them, then it's easy for them. You just follow them and they will take you for a ride and do everything.
What
You
about
just have to be submissive.
what about a Vata and a Kapha combination?
You're identifying yourself, eh?
Yeah.
Well, it's a good combination. It's a good combination because kapha are more bear hug, more loving, more grounding, more stable. They don't worry about whole lot. They accept things as they are, and they create a lot of stability. Vata is which is more flighty and ungrounded, and kapha is very grounded. So it balances each other. And Kapha people are very attracted to the butterfly changing quality of the Vata person, which keeps them very amused. Um, and Vata people are amused with the slowness and the stagnation of these Kapha people. So you kick them, spank them, they won't go anywhere. They are there
That's
in
facts.
long haul. Okay? They don't like changes. Kapha people don't like change.
I
Yeah,
love it. I love it.
I'm like comparing my life. I think I'm a Vata and my boyfriend is a Kapha, and it's like I initially, as soon as you started talking about the sleep, like I associated Kapha with him because he sleeps with his mouth open and he sleeps like a bear, but he's like slow in the morning. It takes him like 15 minutes to get out of bed,
And he also has apnea.
and he has sleep undiagnosed. I've diagnosed him as with sleep apnea. He disagrees,
You're
but
about
I can hear
80%
him.
of the people 80% of the obstructive sleep disorders are not diagnosed. So again, it can be serious, it can be non-serious, but it's the trend. So it affects sleep. And frankly speaking, when we started writing this book together, you asked me the question why awaken sleep.
Yeah.
Because number one reason why people have difficulty with sleep is there's a medical term called somniphobia.
Mhm.
Okay.
Somniphobia is fear of falling asleep alone by themselves.
Oh,
They are feeling lonely. They are feeling fearful of something which is a little abyss that they are getting into in the darkness of the night by themselves. And one thing that they are facing problematically is their own radio station, which is their own thoughts. And they're very fearful and scared of their own thoughts. So when we talk about awakened sleep, it's the sleep hygiene, is the routine that you need to do to transcend this fear of death, darkness, mortality, and the futility of life to connecting yourself with the higher state of consciousness and awareness, which brings your sleep into light, not darkness. Because we see in our patients, they try to do something to be zombie and zoned out with alcohol, with cannabis gummies, and with sleep pills and medication. That is not even a good sleep. You think you're sleeping, but that is not doing to body functions at all. And when you sleep organically, that is when you get the most benefits. And awakened sleep is a way to create a sleep hygiene, a ritual that is going to give you a good night's sleep, also will wake you up with lightness, clarity, and the brightness that you fully achieve.
I love that. I always say that when I listen to you. I'm like always, it makes so much sense to me, all of it. So let's get into it. Let's get into the book. I want to talk to you about one of my favorite products from SkinCeuticals, the Triple Lipid Restore. If your skin feels tight, dry, or just unbalanced, especially in the colder weather, it's often a sign that your lipid barrier needs support. Triple Lipid Restore from SkinCeuticals replenishes the skin's natural fats, ceramides, and cholesterol, as well as fatty acids, in the exact 2:4:2 ratio your skin needs to repair itself. It's more than hydration, it's barrier restoration at a cellular level. The result is skin that feels instantly softer, stronger, and visibly healthier. Find Triple Lipid Restore at bskinenvie.ca. That's bskinenvie.ca, and use Skin Talks 10 for 10% off your first order.
Well, first of all, you mentioned at one point like you merge, like how do you merge neuroscience and wait, no, my first question is what is the circadian rhythm? I'm
Yeah,
curious
that's a good
about
one.
that because
That's a good one.
I have an Aura ring and it like I don't know if you've heard of you have one
You
too.
have one too. I love that.
And I think when I got this, that's when I first became really like cognizant of like my sleep and how important sleep was. And it kind of just made me learn more about my overall health. And then it's updated a couple of times. And now since the past couple months or year or whatever, it talks about the circadian rhythm. And I don't really understand the full grasp of it.
Yeah, me either.
And also like based off of my lifestyle, obviously it has changed in the past 8 months and my circadian rhythm has changed. So I thought it was something that was really like that's your type or like, I don't even know, like, but what is it?
Well, circadian means circa dian. So it simply means around the sun.
Oh, okay.
So what it means is that the rotation of the earth on its axis, which is around the sun, which is facing the sun and away from the sun.
Okay.
So the day and night are created. That is called a circadian rhythm around the sun cycle. So 24-hour cycles of 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night is created. There are activities that the body does when it is in the light. And there are activities that the body does when it is in dark.
And
Sun and the moon. So circadian is something where circa around the sun creating day and night, you can simply understand as the cycles of light and darkness. That's number one. On top of that, there are some infradian rhythm. There are some ultradian rhythm, which like your menstrual cycle is a 28-day rhythm. Is that right? So it is rhythmic. Every 28 days, 30 days, you have a menstrual cycle. It's a lunar cycle. It's a monthly cycle, which is a lunar cycle. Then there are celestial cycles, which the planetary movement and the stars and things like that. So whether we like it or not, we are having a biology which responds to time and the changes in the time. And we need to sync what we do with those changes of time. What it simply means that, just to give you an example, that when you wake up in the morning, the sun is barely waking up, and it's a very tender sunlight around 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. So imagine your son, your digestive fire in the body is barely waking up after 7, 8, 9 hours of sleeping. So your breakfast has to be kapha pacified. It doesn't have to be sweet. It doesn't have to be cold. It doesn't have to be heavy or earthy. It has to be light and warm because the sunlight is very tender and very weak. So you have to eat a light breakfast. When the sun is at its peak in the middle of the day, that should be your most calories that you consume in the day. That should be the main meal of the day, which is in the middle of the day. Because then you're walking around, you're digesting the food, you're able to consume the calories, and you can burn them more easily. And in the evening, when the sunset is happening, again, the sunlight is very fading, very weak, very tender. And what you're going to do next is going to sleep. Is that right? So your dinner has to be light. Because when you sleep, your heart rate, pulse rate, respiratory rate, metabolic rate, everything shuts down and slows down. So if you put a big truckload of food at that time in the night, and when everything shuts down, it just stays in the system. So when I wrote this book, The Hot Belly Diet, one of the things I wrote in the book was eat late to gain some weight and sleep late to gain some weight. And if you're doing both, then you're doomed. Nothing that you will do will help you lose weight.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
about 70% of the country does both. How many people that you know, they eat their biggest meal in the evening?
Yeah. Well, it's like it's a societal thing in a way. Like you go for nice dinners, you go out to a steakhouse, you have a big steak with the mashed potatoes and the veggies.
Alcohol.
Like it's so heavy in alcohol. But I'm curious. Like I've had steak at night. Every single time that I've had I want to correlate it to red meat, I've had nightmares. Is there like some sort, like what is that about? Have you ever had that before?
No.
I have brutal nightmares.
Yeah, because that is a dead food. Okay,
Oh.
blood and meat. It's dead food.
I wasn't expecting.
Just say it how it is.
Shit.
It is.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Sorry if I'm a bit little gory and
No, we
blunt
love that.
to you, but yeah, because I have this debate with my students all the time. And they say, oh, proteins and this and that. I said, God, what are you talking about? You take some of the rice grains I eat, put it in the soil, and you get a whole new plant out of it. Okay? You put your stake in the ground and bury it, do you get a whole cow out of it? You
No.
don't.
It's true,
So
actually.
so dead is dead. And there are emotions in flesh. In our emotions, there are emotions in flesh. Karma. So
Dharma.
I'm not saying that everybody who does that gets that, but you need to be eating foods which are filled with prana, filled with the force of life,
Yeah.
colorful, vibrant, plant based, ideal. So, evening meal has to be light. Every time you eat heavy, it blocks the channels, it blocks the energy. And especially when you're dreaming, you're trying to get yourself out of the box. You're going to transcend the limitations of your sensory faculties and your own mind to connect with your consciousness. And that junction is not happening, maybe in your case. And that's why you are having these fearful dreams and nightmares in the night as such. And how many people have that? It's 50% of young children do sleep talking. About 20% of young children do sleep walking. Parasomnia, as we say. 20% of 5-year-old do bedwetting. So there is something happening in the subconscious mind that is making you stressful, anxious, worry, and the quality of the dreams that you manifest in the night. So awakened sleep is one more way to understand that when you sleep, you are in that field of pure potentiality. You are in the field of consciousness from where everything manifests. Technically, you are doing a dress rehearsal of dying every night. Okay. You go to the same place where you were before you were born and long after you will be after you're gone. But we fear about that. We are scared about that. So, preparing your sleep, having an evening ritual, meditation, gratitude journal, self reflection, focusing on something which is bigger, better, brighter, and greater than yourself. You clear those weeds that are blocking your mind and emotions, and then plant the seeds in, in that field of consciousness and pure potentiality, what you want to manifest in life. Creativity happens in deep sleep. There are so many inventions have happened in deep sleep. The double helix structure of DNA was conceived in sleep. The Benson ring, the periodic table of Mendeleev was conceived in sleep because your senses get fatigued, your mind gets tired and exhausted. When you withdraw that, that's when the pure creativity sprouts up. How often we think that we sleep on a problem and we wake up with a solution. Is
Yeah,
that
it's
right?
true. So the body needs to sleep, right? We need to have sleep. I would like to know, in your opinion, how much sleep do we need and what happens to the body specifically? Because everything that I've learned in my life is like it's really your regeneration. The body has, you go through a digestion process of your previous day and what's going on. Like there's a lot of things that happen to the body in that amount of time that you're asleep. And if you cut that sleep short, what happens, kind of thing.
Well, there are millions of functions, as I said, that go in the body. Okay, tissue repair, tissue growth. We grow the tissue. Okay, in the night, in the sleep. We know that infants grow a lot in their sleep. Is that right?
That's when they get their growing
Because
pains, right? At night.
that's when the growth happens. That's when the growth happens. And we call sleep as a goddess. We are going back to our mother as the womb of creation in the sleep, who takes our body, a battered, bruised body that we have running around all day long, fixes, repairs, heals the tissue, heals the wound, helps you digest the food, convert the food into body tissue. That's like build blood, build, regrow muscles, reduce inflammation in the joint because you have been running around using your body all day long. Is that right? So there are physical things that are happening, regulating blood pressure, slowing down the heart rate because that is pumping all day long. So you have to drop your heart rate so that it gives the heart muscle a little rest and relaxation. Is that right?
Yes.
So every organ, every tissue, including your brain, because there is no cleansing mechanism for the brain. You do a lot of glymphatic release, a glymphatic cleanse, a glymph, which is more a tissue cleanse of the brain that happens in the night when you're asleep. So you're purifying, cleansing, detoxification, rebuilding physical body. What happens to your subtle body? That your mind slowly starts finally catching up because you're running around all day long with numerous sensory experiences. Now you withdraw your senses. Your eyes are closed, your ears are not hearing anything, you're not tasting or smelling anything, because at that stage, when the senses are withdrawn, the mind finally catches up, catalogs all the information, stores the memory, what you will need down the road, things, process, cleanses. You need an emotional bathing that happens in the sleep. So that is what is going on in your mind. And you also need to slip into your spiritual self in the night. So you reconnect with that field that keeps you alive, that keeps you ticking, that creates you with your conscious identity in the night itself. So, at the level of the body, at the level of the mind, at the level of spirit, going into sleep 6, 7, 8 hours every night, where one third of the life you're sleeping, but you're recharging, you're rebooting. Those people who sleep better, look better, feel better, are more energetic. And you are a specialist in skin and beauty. And you know how important your beauty rest is. Is
That's
that
why
right?
they call it that, I guess, when we don't think about that, but beauty sleep, right?
And you know about that beauty is skin deep. So it's about inner, outer, and lasting beauty. It's all about how happy you are, how content you are, how grateful you are, how relaxed you are. Is how you see on your face. Your lines, wrinkles, all those things. These are not cosmetic things. These are all that you feel, because you can be very attractive, you can be very pretty, you can be very intelligent. And that is way beyond than just the physical looks itself. So the real beauty is what is attractive for someone. Is that right?
Yes.
And it's much different than designer clothes or expensive cosmetics. It's that attractiveness comes from these qualities that the goddess of sleep nurtures in you.
I love it.
And what happens to the body if you don't get that 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep? Ideally 8, right?
You gain weight, you're tired. Cognitively, you start losing touch. You fumble on people, places, names, memories, numbers. You don't retain things. You get overly reactive due to lack of sleep. You get snappy, you get grumpy, you get withdrawn, you feel depressed, you feel low energy, you feel as if you walk around with uh, high blood sugar, with high cholesterol, all of those conditions, which are signs of premature aging. Interesting research that came out where one night of bad sleep can put you into a state of prediabetes.
Pre-diabetes. And
One night of bad sleep.
it's so interesting. And what about, like some people say, well, I don't need to sleep. You hear about people, I need 4 hours a night. There's those people that has said that for, what do you think about that?
Well, means people talk about it that I'm a night owl and things like that, but they are all habitual creatures. They have created those habits to stay up night and everything, and you can't justify that. You can't glorify that. Night is meant for sleeping, day is meant for acting, whatever you want. So you need to be asleep. You can get away with less sleep, I would say, if you are engaged into some practices of meditation, if you learn how to take the relaxation, if you learn to take a little power nap in the middle of the day, you can get away with 4 or 5 hours of sleep. But I'm not saying it is optimal that will give all the physiological function that you can carry out. But there's no reason for you to work till 1 o'clock in the night, start your day. And I think the busyness of life, working in different time zones, traveling in different time zones,
Travel's
jet
a hard
lag.
one, eh?
So
Travel's a hard one when you're like the type of a person where your career is in an airplane, traveling from city to city in different time zones. Like flight attendants, for example, and pilots. It's hard on the body.
right. Even they did the studies on nurses who are doing swing shifts and late shifts, and they create 43% more chances of all causes of cancer.
Oh, really?
There's a reason why we call it as graveyard shift.
Yeah, the graveyard shift is the nighttime shift.
I know. It's these expressions, they come for a reason. We just use them like randomly all the time, not really understanding or even like being conscious of what what the root actually is of the term.
And the even worst part is that you have a swing shift where one night you're working 10 to 5 in the night, and the other day you work during the day, and then the next week you work again, go to night. That is terrible because the body clocks. Okay, there are clocks that tell you, even the bowel movement is a clock. Okay, hunger is a clock, thirst is a clock, energy reserves, how to feel energetic during the day and things like that. When you mess up those things, then you get more energy in the night and you're tired all day long. It's a messed up clock. It's a messed up circadian rhythm. So sleep, diet, and exercise. This is the tripod of life. Diet, you need to pay attention to what kind of food are you eating, when you're eating. You need to exercise, ideally in the morning, and you need to get enough sleep.
I want to know quickly in your 35 years of your career, like, have you seen people's quality of sleep go down throughout the years? Or like, what's
It
the
is natural.
trend?
It is natural. When you enter in a vata phase of life after menopause, you're into a vata phase where sleep naturally becomes light and thin. And that is why it is even more important for you to work on that, to keep the bedroom dark, to keep it slightly cool, to take the clocks and flashing lights out of your bedroom, to leave your phone in a different bedroom,
You
to
need to do
make
that.
sure that you're not exposed to a whole lot of blue light right before you go to sleep. If you're watching a violent movie, if you're anything, last thing that you do haunts you in your sleep. So, so if you're someone is 60 years of age, I will be very cautious and careful. But if you're a 20-year-old kid, you're tired all day long, you have lots of energy, you're exhausted, you fall asleep, crash, and start sleeping right away. So, yes, you can sleep more easily in a kapha age, maybe in a pitta age, but in a vata age, the sleep becomes light and more difficult to fall asleep and stay asleep.
Yeah, I'm going to expose you. You have a horrible sleeping pattern.
No, but I'm it's probably the first thing because I also have the Aura ring. And the first thing I do when I look at my phone.
No, but when you go to bed.
I know I watch movies at night and stuff like that to help.
She falls asleep watching movies on her iPad.
No, I'm going to correct that. I fall asleep not watching movies. I listen to meditations.
No, I've slept in the same bed as you, and it's
I know, but
TV shows or movies.
No.
There is no way that we can glorify in having a phone or an iPad or a television.
No,
okay, you can do all of that. Crack open a magazine or get a hardcover heavy book, and in few pages you will zone out and fall asleep.
I figure I'm doing something good for myself because I listen to meditations before I fall asleep.
You can't glorify that. That's what people say.
No,
they glorify that. I'm watching.
I'm glorifying.
Take your iPad, and you know what? I would like to challenge you to take your phone out of the bedroom too.
I don't have my phone on at the nighttime. I turn it off. It's my alarm clock.
You turn it on airplane mode or just?
I turn it on airplane mode completely.
Good to know.
I always have.
Well, now you can't.
Now I can't. Clearly, I have to change that pattern because.
What I'm saying is, Beate, means I understand. We are all habit, having cultivating this habit. Okay, so this alarm clock is an illusion. Okay, means
you're getting buried.
Okay, you like doing this to me. I know. Go on, please.
It's an illusion because you train yourself to wake up at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock every morning. You will wake up.
I don't need my alarm clock, to be honest with you. It's
true.
there just in case.
Yeah.
Frankly speaking, there are these lights that we tell people to get actually, which is like a morning sunrise. So around 4 o'clock, it becomes a little light. 5 o'clock, it becomes a little light. And by 6 o'clock, the bedroom is lit. So it's as if the sun is out in your bed.
Yes.
So if the alarm clock is set that you want to wake up at 6 o'clock, you will wake up at 6 o'clock. So you train it. But Alarm clock disrupts a lot of things. Even daylight saving times. It's horrible
Yeah,
what we are doing with all.
I know. Why did we do that? Why did we do that? It was just
We
so.
should not. We should abolish that.
I
I
think
think
so.
most of the European countries are getting rid of it, and we should get rid of it also.
I think it was there's actually been talk that
There
we
has
were-
been talk.
Yeah.
There has been talk.
I want to know, because we're talking about obviously like the cell phones and all of this, like, are there anything, what else is there that's like a natural sleep disturbance before you go to bed? Like,
Forget about this, Natasha. Means you can relate to this. 2007 was the first smartphone that Apple brought it up. 2006 was no Facebook, no Twitter, no Instagram. Just 15, 20 years ago, this was not a part of our life. Social media, nothing of this. Okay? Half of your life, you had no exposure to any of these things. And suddenly, they dictate and dominate every aspect of our life.
mm-hmm.
The planes were in the sky, people were traveling, we were faxing people, the businesses were run, we were selling products, everything was happening. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is not that suddenly this is need, without this we can't function. We have created this need. And the oscillation that you get, the fluctuations, maybe you get a dopamine hit
It's the
when
dopamine. I
you
think we're
read
addicted to
or
that.
watch something. Addicted. It's a pleasure that you're addicted to. And you are watching people that have nothing to do with your life. They're having a jolly good time in Bahamas, in Costa Rica, God knows where. And they have nothing to do with ruin the stability of your mind at that time of the day itself. Okay, you're feeling just good and bad about it. And you're allowing yourselves to be affected. And what is affected is the peace of your mind and the quality of sleep. Because that's going to haunt you.
So then what
Subconsciously.
would be one tip that you would give somebody who is living into day-to-day life with like social media and all this
Habits
thing,
and
like
addictions.
like what's one tip you give them to like help them sleep better at night?
Self-reflective journal.
Okay.
Write in bold capital letters. I love my mom. I love with all her flaws and kinks.
Yeah,
Okay.
Tash.
Kinks.
Unconditionally love her. I love my boyfriend. I love my job. I live in a beautiful part of the world. I'm really happy and content and peaceful. I have a healthy, happy, energetic, joyful body. I have a beautiful, clear, perceptive mind. I get to use my skill set. Look at the better things. Focus on things that you have.
I want to tell a personal story with that.
Mm.
Because I really do believe in that. So, I always heard all of my life, journal, 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 journal. Everybody talks about it, but how many people actually do it? So it was, I don't know, I think I listened to a podcast last year in 2024, and I decided one day that I was going to start to journal. And originally when I thought about journaling, I thought, okay, I'm going to write down like things that are bothering me. And what ended up happening is first of all, I started off with self-affirmations. I am, I am, I am. And I wrote for pages and pages of all the things that are positive about me as a human being or who I am as a person. And then I started to journal every single night before I went to bed. And I would just start with like, today was a wonderful day today. This is what I'm grateful for. And I would talk about all the different things. And then one night I thought, I'm not writing anything in my journal. That's what I thought I was going to write about the challenges and the difficulties that I had during the day. I decided that I would journal anything that was not positive in another journal, like a black journal that I had. And that black journal is still sitting there. And I swear to God that it changed my perspective on life. It changed everything for me is because I realized that being like at the end of the day to journal all the wonderful things and to acknowledge all the things that were wonderful and also all the things that I'm grateful for, including things like thanking and being grateful for your body, for your mind, for your heart, for your family, like everything. It made a humongous difference in my life. And I have to admit now, I did it for probably 6 or 7, maybe even 8 months, every single night. Sometimes very short, sometimes longer. Sometimes I was there for a half an hour, 45 minutes, just writing and writing and writing. And then I stopped doing it every single night, but it did change my life. I have to say, it really, really made a humongous difference.
Well, and where the attention goes, energy flows.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
another
So
expression, right?
Yes.
where the attention goes, energy flows.
Yeah, no,
If your
I have
attention
to take it
goes,
back up
I
again.
am alone, I am alone, I hate my marriage, I hate my job, I don't have enough money, I'm in pain. That's where your attention is going. But if your attention is going on something bigger, better, brighter, and greater than yourself, then that's what energy that you manifest. It's a subtle art of positive affirmation that changes. It doesn't mean that you should disregard how you're feeling and anything
Yeah.
else. But what happens at that time in the night is something that is going to decide how you train your subconscious mind. And frankly speaking, every one of us have a lot of things that we can be thankful of.
No,
And
gratitude is a
sleep is
massive.
gratitude is massive because we have seen this. People who have heart disease have this angry, inflamed heart. Okay. And all of them are sleep deprived and do not have good quality sleep. And the fear of not sleeping makes them do things which adds and worsens things. For example, people think that without my wine or alcohol, I can't sleep. But that adds more heat, creates more inflammation. Then you wake up in the wee hours in the morning, and so forth and so on. So it creates cascade, all the choices that you make right before you go to sleep, including your food. And one of the biggest marker that we said in the book, and nowadays the science has agreed on this, is that the daylight exposure to sunlight will decide the quality of your sleep at the night.
Okay.
How much you're exposed to sunlight outdoors during the day will decide the quality of your sleep at the night. So spend some time outdoors, get your body moving so that you're pleasantly tired. Hydrate yourself well during the day, not too much in the night. So drink as much, plenty of water you can throughout the day, but try drinking, taking only sips of water after 7 o'clock in the evening because you don't want to wake up several times in the night for urination as such. And keep the body temperature down. The cooler the body temperature, the better it is. Many times I tell people to rinse their feet with cool water so
Hmm.
that it pulls all the heat from your head to the toe and it allows you to fall asleep more easily as such. And one another thing that we wrote in the book was do a quick sensory scan. Pay attention to your senses. See what are you seeing in front of your closed eyes. What are you smelling at that time? What are you hearing with the subtle sounds? What your sensory experience of your skin is at that time. And then you watching yourself, asking and witnessing your own thoughts as if you're watching a procession of your thoughts going in front of you. That why am I thinking this? Where is the source of these thoughts? Where
Yeah.
they're coming from? And I am not these thoughts. I am not these sensory experiences. I am not the one who is in this physical body with this much age, with this much money. I am one which is completely immortal. I am the totality. I am the divinity that I am getting a glimpse of a human experience at this moment. And this may sound very heady and philosophical, but as you cultivate this, it's a meditative experience.
Hmm.
So, awakened sleep is converting your sleep into a meditation experience.
Interesting.
That's yeah, I've really loved chatting with you today. I think it's so interesting.
There's so much to unpack when it comes
Yeah,
to
it just
sleep.
it does.
Like
It
it's
does to be
yeah,
continued
there's a
because
lot.
I think the skin talks is not talks about skin, but your skin is talking to you.
Hmm.
Your visceral thing, is that right? The visceral thing is talking to you. There's a medical fancy term called as interoceptive awareness. Okay, how you're feeling, the layers of your skin and your organs telling you something, connecting yourself with that, understanding that to manage the homeostatic balance of your body.
Mm.
So I think sleep is a big component, diet is a big component, exercise is a big component, integrating that because number one challenge that I see in my clinical practice is that I know everything that you're telling me, Dr. Suhas. I don't have time to do this, and I'm not motivated to do this. So how do I motivate myself? And how do I manifest time to participate in my own health? Self-care rituals is so important. No matter whatever you want to manifest in your life. Some time for yourself in the morning, some time for yourself is absolutely necessary,
Mhm.
no matter how busy you are. Because at the end of the day, is how you feel is exactly the kind of life you are going to attract.
I love it.
Yeah.
I have one like off question a little bit out of curiosity. Um, is there, because I'm pregnant, so I'm expecting a baby in January. And I want to know, is there, yeah, is there like advice around babies and sleep? Because like there's so much conversation around like sleep training, but then it's like babies aren't meant to be sleep trained in the first 6 weeks. And it's like all this conversation around babies and sleeping. And is there
Well,
a way
it's
that we're
not that you are
disrupting?
it's not that only when you're sleeping the baby is sleeping. They're sleeping all day long when you are having a corporate board meeting or talking to clients or anything else. So it's not that only that time the babies are sleeping because they are not exposed to the circles of cycles of day and night.
Mm.
It's all dark there. Is that right?
Mhm.
So that's number one. Second, what you do for those 9 months will literally decide the nature of the baby, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. The quality of the food you eat, stay away from unwanted heavy amount of steak, dead, dead foods. Eat food that are fresh, vibrant, lively, clean, energetics, rainbow colored fruits.
Mm.
Lots of plant-based foods, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains, things like that. Hydrate. And the quality of the sleep that you will get, that is the time you connect with your baby. Your heart is pulsating with your baby's heart at the same time. And the thoughts that you're having in your mind are affecting the baby also. If you are in a distress situation, imagine a pregnant mother who is at a counter in Walmart checking people out or something. Okay. And it's difficult, it's stressful. She has to do the job to pay her bills, nothing bad about it. But the difficulty of being a single mom, the stress in her life, all goes and affects the baby. So you are loved, you are nourished, you are nurtured, and you create that spiritual communion with your baby because this is the right investment that you do at this time. It's not that how much money you have to bring the baby out and how much money you'll be paying them. It's all about how you invest them into their peace and tranquility of their mind so that they feel comfortable. My mother is happy, which creates a happy baby.
Yeah, that's why like I remember at the beginning of when I found out and I was like there would be stressful situations at work and I was like nope, I don't feel stress. I don't I remember I was saying that
Yeah.
like I was like I'm not allowing stress to enter my body because I don't want my baby to feel stressed even though it was like literally a peanut at the time. Now I feel the same way. I'm like very very cognizant of stressful situations in my life that I remove like I don't let it like sit in my
Enter.
brain at all. I like just I completely block it out
Push it away.
because
yeah.
I'm like, there's no way this child's coming into this world stressed like me.
Or
Dr. Manisha's new book came out just few days ago called as Tastes of Emotion.
what's
And
it
I
called
think that will
again?
be a
Say
good
States of
states
emotion.
of emotion.
state of emotion. So it's the emotional cravings. What you crave is the state of your mind and emotion, which makes you do that. So that will be a good topic for your next podcast with Dr.
Oh, I would
Manisha.
love that.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
today. I've learned so much, but we'll definitely have to have you on to talk about maybe even your other books,
Yeah.
like diet, all of this. It's been such a pleasure and I've learned so much. We always finish off our episodes with some questions.
Like
so like rapid fire questions,
kind of questions.
whatever comes straight to your mind.
So I've kind of
Yeah.
changed the questions
Yeah.
because I realized that anyways, a well-rested body and mind is
Happy.
happy. Interesting. The next question I have for you is a tip for someone who wants to start in this journey of awakened sleep.
Meditate. Make meditation a part of your everyday life.
Meditate. And then if you could leave our listeners with one nightly ritual that could transform their sleep and perhaps their life, what would it be?
Self-reflective journaling.
Self-reflective journaling.
I love it.
Yeah. I align completely with that. Doctor, this was just so fun. Do you understand why
Yeah.
I totally, completely enjoyed that weekend? Thank you so much for joining us today. It was such a pleasure. We appreciate your time so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All the best and keep us posted, okay?
Yes.
Thank you for listening to Skin Talks.
If this episode inspired you, taught you something new, or just made you feel seen, please share with someone you love. And if you believe in thoughtful and empowering conversations that help you make better choices for yourself around your beauty and wellness, please rate and review the show. It helps us to grow our community, and we deeply appreciate it. Because this isn't just about skin.
It's about claiming your beauty, feeling strong, informed, and at home in yourself.
See you next week.